Generative AI has moved out of closed academic laboratories and onto public web browsers. Platforms like Google Gemini, HeyGen, and FaceSwap have made the production of highly realistic synthetic media accessible to anyone with an internet connection, drastically scaling up the volume of fabricated content in circulation. The financial consequences of this mass production are already severe. In Hong Kong, a finance officer at a multinational corporation transferred $25 million to scammers after sitting through a video conference populated entirely by deepfaked versions of his chief financial officer and colleagues. In the geopolitical theater, synthetic media is actively deployed as a weapon of information warfare. During the ongoing conflict in Ukraine, a fabricated video of President Zelensky urging his troops to surrender circulated online, demonstrating how easily manipulated media can be injected into volatile democratic processes. On an individual level, the reputational damage is widespread. The rapid generation and distribution of non-consensual, fabricated, explicit imagery targeting public figures like Taylor Swift has forced lawmakers to scramble for legislative responses to a technology advancing faster than the law. Traditional image tampering relies on splicing existing pixels together, copying, pasting, and blending elements to create a forgery. Modern generative models discard that process. Instead, they synthesize entirely new, statistically coherent pixel data from scratch, creating a uniform image surface without the boundary lines of a copy and paste job. Generating synthetic media is now trivial, but our systemic ability to definitively detect it remains dangerously limited. While academic literature is full of theoretical detection algorithms tested in pristine, controlled environments, professional investigators rarely have access to those systems. Law enforcement must rely on publicly accessible, free-to-use software tools to process evidence. To measure how these public tools actually perform, researchers at University College Dublin designed a unified stress test. They handed 250 diverse images, a mix of authentic photographs, traditional digital tampering, and fully AI-generated media, to two professional law enforcement investigators to evaluate across 6 widely available detection platforms. This vertical bar chart compares the overall detection accuracy of these systems. The results reveal a massive performance gap. The human investigator achieved 94% accuracy, towering over the highest-scoring AI algorithm, FaceOnLive, which capped out at 79%. The best-performing digital forensic platform, a tool called Forensically, scored even lower at 78%. Both major software categories fell short of human capability. Despite the intense mathematical complexity powering modern generative models, the trained semantic heuristics of a human expert remain the single most reliable detection instrument currently available to investigators. The first software category tested is forensic analysis. These tools do not give you a simple real or fake answer. Instead, they generate analytical overlays to expose underlying statistical inconsistencies. They look for anomalies using techniques like error level analysis, which highlights areas of an image that have different compression rates, suggesting they were saved at different times or from different sources. Even though these forensic tools were originally designed to catch traditional localized tampering, they still flag about 81% of fully AI-generated images. This happens because the pixels synthesized by AI often contain subtle frequency domain anomalies that the algorithms pick up as artificial. This scatter plot illustrates the core limitation of the forensic method. We have specificity, the ability to correctly identify real images, on the x-axis, and recall, the ability to detect fakes, on the y-axis. The forensic tools cluster in the top left quadrant. They are excellent at catching fakes, but they struggle to recognize authentic media. The tool InVID WeVerify perfectly illustrates this specificity problem. It correctly identifies only 37.8% of genuine images. If you hand it an authentic, unmanipulated photograph, it is statistically more likely to falsely accuse it of being a forgery. This interface shows an unmanipulated photograph of a naturally bright object. The forensic overlays aggressively flag the image as manipulated simply because of the high color saturation and contrasting background. The algorithms powering these overlays lack semantic awareness. They cannot contextualize why an anomaly exists in the pixels, like a natural shadow or a bright color. They only report that a fixed mathematical threshold has been crossed. Because of this, the forensic approach traps investigators in a sea of false positives. The raw outputs require so much subjective interpretation that they are too legally ambiguous to serve as standalone evidentiary proof in a courtroom. The second approach relies on automated AI classifiers. These are black box deep learning architectures. They are trained on massive datasets of real and fake images, and they require no forensic expertise to use. You upload an image, and the tool returns a binary real or fake prediction along with a confidence score. Returning to our scatter plot, we see the AI classifiers exhibit the exact inverse statistical profile. They land in the bottom right quadrant. They have excellent specificity, identifying real images over 91% of the time. But look at their position on the y-axis. They suffer from terrible recall, missing a staggering volume of actual deepfake imagery. This failure is driven by generalization failure. Deep learning models tend to overfit to their specific training data. If they are trained to recognize the artifacts created by one specific image generator, they frequently fail when asked to evaluate an image created by a novel architecture. This data matrix tracks detection rates across different AI architectures. Look at how brittle the systems are when evaluating images made by GANs, where two neural networks compete to generate highly realistic data. DecopyAI spots 100% of fakes generated by StyleGAN 3, but drops to just 10% against StarGAN 2. The blind spot becomes absolute against commercial generators like HeyGen, where every tested AI classifier returned a 0% detection rate. AI classifiers only recognize the exact mathematical signatures they were trained on. Because the technology evolves so rapidly, these tools are perpetually outdated, missing the most recent commercial media generation. To understand exactly where these tools fall short, researchers isolated the operational overlap, the specific instances where a human investigator and an algorithmic classifier evaluated the exact same image. When both the human and the AI tool agree, the resulting prediction is correct 97% of the time. This concordance provides a highly reliable confidence signal for investigators triaging evidence. This flowchart splits predictions into cases where humans and machines agreed and where they contradicted. Following the disagreement path, when human judgment overrides the algorithm, the human is correct 89% of the time. The machine wins only 11%. We can quantify this using Cohen's kappa, a statistical metric that measures the level of agreement between two raters. The highest performing classifier achieved a kappa score of just 0.54, a moderate correlation that falls entirely short of the threshold for substantial agreement. Humans win these disagreements because we evaluate reality differently than software does. Algorithms scan the microscopic level, looking for pixel block artifacts and mathematical noise distributions. Humans perceive semantic reality. We noticed when a cornea reflects light that isn't in the room, when anatomical proportions fail, or shadows defy the sun. Algorithmic detection ultimately fails precisely when the forgery breaks the laws of physical reality in ways that do not leave a traditional mathematical footprint behind. We are left with an inverse trade-off. Forensic tools catch fakes, but trigger false positives. AI classifiers safely identify real images, but let modern deepfakes slip past. Neither the forensic nor the AI method currently delivers the combination of high recall and high specificity that legal evidentiary standards demand. Relying on a single automated tool as a silver bullet in a deepfake investigation is a documented liability. It is a mathematical guarantee that you will either falsely accuse authentic evidence or validate a sophisticated forgery. This hybrid workflow begins with high-volume triage. Hundreds of files flow into an AI classifier, rapidly filtering likely authentic images. Suspicious files then pass to a human investigator, who uses forensic tools to gather data points supporting their own semantic analysis. Software tools must be repositioned. They are investigative aids designed to surface anomalies. They are not and cannot be treated as autonomous arbiters of truth. As generative architectures continue to improve, they will increasingly erase their own digital fingerprints. The ultimate safeguard for digital authenticity remains the critical semantic reasoning of the human mind, augmented but never replaced by targeted algorithmic triage.